Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Coco Gauff told to sharpen two crucial aspects of her play amid ongoing struggles she has to address. Coco Gauff's rise in tennis has been nothing short of spectacular, with 2 Grand Slam titles already under her belt at just 20 years old. However, despite her triumph at the French Open earlier this year, the young star has struggled to maintain momentum in recent months. Now, one of the most respected coaches in tennis has urged Gauff to take immediate steps to refine 2 critical areas of her game if she hopes to reach her full potential. Rick Matchie points out Coco Gauff's weaknesses. Rick Matchie, the veteran coach widely recognized for mentoring Venus and Serena Williams, recently shared his candid assessment of Gauff's current form. Writing on social media, the 70-year-old coach emphasized that while Gauff has the fighting spirit and talent to succeed, there are glaring technical flaws she must address. Coco will be okay as she fights and knows how to play. But to ever breathe rare air, she has to address the alarming red flare, Matchie wrote. According to him, Coco Gauff's second serve and forehand remain vulnerable, particularly when the pressure is at its peak. He argued that these elements need a science-based plan to ensure consistency, rather than being left to chance. She is at a career crossroad with the second serve and forehand, but needs a science-based plan. This will not magically go away and bubbles up more under extreme pressure that particular day, Matchie explained. The science of improvement. Matchie, a 7-time USPDA National Coach of the Year, has long been an advocate for biomechanics in tennis training. He suggested that with the right adjustments, particularly in how Gauff initiates her racket movement and uses her leg drive on serve, her performance could improve drastically. Her wide serve to the deuce court is one of the best in the world, but then in the same breath, we're talking about she leads the WTA Tour in double faults. So there's a disconnect, Matchie told Tennis 365. He further elaborated that by keeping her weight back longer and reworking her serving platform, Coco Gauff could eliminate inconsistency. With the right plan, there's no doubt this could be solved immediately, Matchie added, mentioning collaboration with biomechanics expert Dr. Gordon. The path to number 1. Despite his criticisms, Matchie remains one of Gauff's staunchest supporters. He predicted last year that the American is destined for the top of the WTA rankings, a belief he has not wavered from. I think not only could Coco become number 1, which she probably will anyways, I think she could stay there for a long time, because her backbone is better than her backhand, and she's an Olympic sprinter with a racket in her hand, Matchie stated. With her natural athleticism, resilience, and work ethic, Coco Gauff already has the foundation of a champion. If she manages to fine-tune her serve and forehand under pressure, she may not only rise to the world number 1 spot, but also dominate women's tennis for years to come. Coco Gauff, the young American tennis sensation, has been hailed as the future of women's tennis since her electrifying breakthrough at Wimbledon in 2019, where she stunned Venus Williams at just 15 years old. Her meteoric rise, magnetic charisma, and relentless athleticism have earned her global attention and millions of fans. Yet, as she continues to mature in the fiercely competitive world of professional tennis, analysts and former players are offering pointed advice. There are 2 crucial aspects of her game that demand immediate sharpening. She has to address her forehand and her return strategy, says one former Grand Slam champion turned commentator. Those are the 2 areas that are holding her back from dominating consistently. These words, echoed by experts across the tennis world, may sound harsh, but they're grounded in respect and belief in her potential. Gauff's raw talent is undeniable, but to convert potential into sustained excellence, refinement is key. The forehand, a double-edged sword. For all of Coco's strengths, her powerful serve, elite court coverage, and fierce mental resilience, her forehand has long been considered a liability under pressure. It's a technical flaw that seasoned opponents are quick to exploit. The problem isn't just execution. It's mechanics, timing, and confidence. She tends to grip the racket a bit too tight, says former coach and analyst Eric Johnson. The motion becomes stiff and rushed, especially when she's behind in a point. Against top-tier players who hit deep and with spin, that forehand breaks down. What's striking is how well-known this weakness has become. During the 2024 clay and grass court seasons, multiple opponents deliberately targeted Gauff's forehand with heavy topspin or fast, low slices, forcing errors and neutralizing her defense. In those moments, her frustration often showed. Still, the forehand is fixable. In fact, it's common for top players to retool their strokes mid-career. Gauff's team, including coach Brad Gilbert, who famously revamped Andre Agassi's game, has already begun tweaking her footwork and swing path. There are glimpses of improvement, more topspin, better angles, increased confidence in rally exchanges. But the road is long. She's only 21, says Gilbert. Most players don't peak until 24, 25. What matters now is that she's open to evolution. Return strategy, the chess game. The second area under scrutiny is Gauff's return strategy. Not the return itself, which can be explosive, but how she positions herself tactically during return games. She's reactive rather than proactive, says Martina Navratilova. She waits to see where the serve goes instead of dictating the return. At this level, that's not enough. Gauff is an exceptional athlete, fast, strong, and agile, but her return position often leaves her vulnerable. Too deep behind the baseline on slower courts, too aggressive on faster ones without adjusting her angles. These are the kinds of details that separate a Grand Slam quarterfinalist from a Grand Slam champion. The mental aspect of the return game is also critical. Gauff sometimes fails to build pressure over a series of games, instead going for flashy winners early in return points. While her highlight reel looks impressive, the scoreboard often doesn't. A better return strategy would mean studying opponents' tendencies more thoroughly, varying her own responses, and developing patterns that trap and frustrate servers. It's a mental chess game, one that players like Iga Swiatek and Aryna Sabalenka play masterfully. Returning isn't just about hitting the ball back, says Navratilova. It's about planting doubt. Coco needs to learn how to do that, how to make a server think twice. The mental tightrope. Beyond the technical aspects, there's a psychological layer to these struggles. Gauff carries enormous expectations from fans, from sponsors, from the media, and most of all, from herself. Every Grand Slam match she plays feels like a referendum on her progress. That kind of pressure can distort decision-making and stunt natural development. She's incredibly mature for her age, says fellow American star Madison Keys. But people forget, she's still growing into her body, her identity, and her game. At times, Gauff has acknowledged her own internal battles. After a tough loss at the 2025 French Open, she said in a post-match interview, "I feel like I'm expected to be perfect, and when I'm not, I let that get to me." It's in those moments, tight second sets, long deuce games, break points, that her forehand tightens, and her return positioning falters. Technique, after all, is inseparable from confidence. Signs of reinvention. Despite the criticism, 2025 has not been a failure for Gauff. She reached the semifinals at the Australian Open and claimed 2 WTA 1000 titles earlier in the year. Her serve continues to improve, clocking in among the fastest on tour, and her backhand remains a weapon of mass destruction. Most notably, her net game has evolved with cleaner volleys and smarter approach shots. And while her forehand and return strategy remain question marks, they're not permanent flaws, they're in progress. She's trying things, says analyst Tracy Austin. That's what you want to see in a young champion. You want risk. You want change. Because that's how greatness is built. Indeed, her matches increasingly show a willingness to experiment. Looping forehands with more topspin, body serves to disrupt rhythm, sneaky drop shots from the baseline. These are the seeds of transformation. A glimpse into the future. What does the future hold for Coco Gauff? If she sharpens these two areas, her forehand and her return strategy, there's little doubt she will be one of the most dominant players of the next decade. She has all the ingredients: the athleticism of Serena, the tactical awareness of Barty, the mental strength of Djokovic. But the path won't be linear. It rarely is for players who break through young. Just ask Rafael Nadal, who retooled his serve and backhand in his mid-20s, or Naomi Osaka, who refined her movement and mental approach through trial and error, or even Roger Federer, who reinvented his game after age 30. For Coco, these next 12 to 18 months could define the arc of her career. The work is being done behind closed doors. Endless forehands on the practice court, hours of match footage reviewed frame by frame, grueling tactical sessions with her coaches. And slowly, quietly, the transformation is underway. She has to address these areas, says Gilbert. But she's already on it. Trust me, people are going to be surprised. The champion in progress. Perhaps the most compelling part of Gauff's journey is that she remains a work in progress. Open, vulnerable, relentless. She's not afraid to admit when something's not clicking. She listens. She adapts. And she fights. The two flaws highlighted by critics are not weaknesses. They're opportunities. Opportunities for growth, for mastery, for rewriting the narrative. If she embraces the process, and if she builds her game with the same courage she brings to every match, then history may one day say, the forehand and return were not her downfall, but the very crucibles through which a champion was forged. And when that moment comes, when she lifts the next Grand Slam trophy, composed and unbreakable, these struggles will be remembered not as cracks, but as the very foundation of her greatness.